You're listening to the Player Issue Podcast. Here's your host, Aaron Warwick.
Hello. Welcome to episode 24 of the Player Issue Podcast. Yes, I am your host, Aaron Warwick. It's been 3 weeks since the last episode, so I think it's 2 episodes in a row. It's only been 3 weeks between the last couple of episodes, so I'm stoked. We're actually going a little bit earlier than we thought. So I've actually been on holidays for the last week and a little bit, so I have been able to get in the studio a little bit in the newly formed studio, and today's interview is actually the very first interview that we recorded in this new studio. So I'm stoked. The cave is all finished. The museum is up. The belts are in here as well. I've got my projector up and big screen. Even bought some really cool lighting, so it's all great in here. The live auction obviously will be the first place you'll actually really be able to see it live and in person. So yeah, I'm stoked. I'm happy. The studio is up and going, and here we are 3 weeks after our last episode. So must be a good time to be alive. We've also got another episode lined up very shortly as well. He was meant to be the next interview before this one today. However, Josh wants to interview him with me, and you'll find out why when we do that interview. But Josh hasn't been available. He's been a little bit under the weather. So if we can all get a shout out to Josh, that would be great. I'm sure he'd love it. But yeah, hopefully we'll get him in the studio as soon as possible and we can do that interview ASAP. Otherwise, I'll have to do it myself. Not a problem. We can do that as well. But yeah, Josh would be great to have on that as well. And obviously with the live auction coming up very soon as well, the live sporting memorabilia auction would be fantastic to have Josh here with me. I don't think you all want to listen to me talk and blabber on for a couple of hours by myself. We will have Emma as well here in the studio with us, helping us do that again, just like we did last time. So 17th of April at 3 p.m. West Australian time is when the next sporting memorabilia auction will be. Make sure if you are listening to this that you jump onto the Player Issue Podcast Facebook page, have a look at the event page. There is an event set up for that auction. Make sure you're joining that so you are notified as soon as that starts, and you'll see the video come up and there will be our lovely faces ready to go, ready to do another live auction. So I'm really happy and really excited about it. Really good thing about it is we cut it down. So from 25 auction items we had last time, we've cut it down to 20 at maximum. Could even be less than that, just purely because we want to bring the time down a little bit. It did go for 4 hours last time, so we want to bring it down, bring it back. Obviously, we will have a little bit more experience as what we have done previously, so we'll be able to bring it down just on the amount of time we take with in between things as well. So if we can get it to around about 2 hours, that's probably the sweet spot. So between 2 and 2.5 hours is going to be about what we'll aim for the next live auction. So 20 items is an absolute maximum of what we'll have, potentially even 15, but we'll see how we go. But the good thing is we are getting some great items coming through, so it's going to be really good, really exciting stuff. I am pumped to do it. Hopefully you guys are all happy and excited for that as well. So yeah, as I said, 17th of April, that one will be at 3 p.m. West Australian time. We'll be raring and ready to go. Production values will definitely take a uplift as well. I've been working with a lot of different programs and graphics and starting to learn things a little bit better myself. So it'll look much nicer. You'll have dual camera, so you'll see us as well as Emma at the same time throughout the entire show. We'll be able to do some flashy stuff and hopefully get some chat up on the screen so everyone can see everyone as we're talking. So we'll actually be able to see what you're saying in real time. That'd be fantastic. But yeah, some things to work on still as we do that. But it should be another fantastic night, and I am excited. So I know a few episodes ago, we mentioned that we would play some clips from YouTube or wherever that I find some cool little clips. The clip today comes from another podcast. So that podcast being another really, really well-known AFL podcast, and that's the Dillon Friends podcast. And this one here, he is actually quite early. So I think it was episode 5. I don't know how many he's done now, but quite a few. And this one here, he's talking to Daniel Gorringe, who is quite a regular guest on his show. Almost 1 point co-host. So, so he's a regular. And this one, they're actually talking about football jumpers. So, really fitting for our show, obviously. So, have a listen. Hopefully you enjoy it. And make sure you jump over to the Dillon Friends podcast and check it out because it's really interesting. It's good stuff. I quite enjoy listening to it myself. Here we go. Have a listen.
What are you wearing?
Glad you asked.
Well, I thought, we're in studio, we're back. Might as well get into it. Bought a few goodies from home that obviously will deck out the studio. Bit of memorabilia. Obviously, the Suns Guernsey.
Yep.
Did wear this one once.
Yep. Is that the 47 or is that the...
This is the 15. This is the upgrade one.
Can I say, a lot of people, there's a lot of jersey collectors out there.
Oh, is there ever?
And I know you must get hit up a lot for these jumpers. Like, because how long were you 47 for? Was it just the 1 year?
1 year, then they retired it.
So, yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
They've actually retired the 43 as well. So, with the 47, have you got any of those?
Yeah, old man, Mark does. Mark Groen's back in SA has one. That'd be worth a bit.
Don't give the address out.
Oh, mate, they'd be breaking through the window to steal it, wouldn't they?
The 47 would be worth more than the 15 now.
They're like Pokemon cards. You know the Pokemon cards are coming back? These 47s, they're people after them.
They're rare.
They are rare. So, mate, I'm back in here. Love the Sunny. We know we love the Sunnies. A lot of listeners up there in the Gold.
There we go. So a little bit of a taste there of the Dillon Friends podcast with Daniel Gorringe, one of the failed draft picks, and he knows it. Anyway, it was a good little listen, and talking about player issue jumpers, they are aware that we are out there and we're a big community, so really cool to hear that. All right, let's get on with our interview today. So I've been mentioning and I've been asking for some female collectors to come forward and put their hand up if they would like to come onto the show, and today I've actually finally got one to come on, so I'm stoked to have our first female collector on. She not only is here herself, she's actually brought her young son with her. So he's 14 years old. So this is crazy. He's a really good chap. So 14 years old, and he's a really good collector, and he knows his stuff. So really good to hear. It's not only our first female collector, but it's also our first Sydney Swans. So I've given it away already, but it's good to hear from another club. So always good. And we've got a few more to go, but always good to hear from everybody from all clubs. So hopefully we can fill up the rest of the clubs as soon as possible. Anyway, let's get on with it. Today we have Kylie and Anthony Audino. Okay, where are you guys from and who do you support?
We're from Melbourne and we support the Swans.
You're from Melbourne, so you're in Melbourne right now?
Yes.
Yep.
Right, so you're born and raised in Melbourne?
Yes.
Right, now so it brings up the obvious question, how the hell do you support the Swans?
So my grandmother supported the Swans, and as a little girl I used to get dragged along to the football matches. My mum is also a mad Swans supporter. So Anthony, the South Melbourne Bloods.
Yeah.
So Anthony was very close with my grandmother, so it was just a matter of course for him to start barracking for the Swans as well.
Interesting. And so, Anthony, you are 15 years old, am I correct?
15 in a month.
Okay, so you're only 14 right now. Wow.
Yep.
Even better. Okay, so you've obviously had a lot of pressures being a young man coming up with some serious football teams in the last few years. Has anyone tried to pressure you into supporting somebody else? I'm sure they would have.
Dad's side of the family all barrack for Essendon, so.
Right. So what about at school? Anyone trying to force you to support someone else, or all your mates quite happy to have an outcast?
Yeah, trying to push me into other teams, but stayed loyal.
Very good, mate. Very good. Well done. I feel that as well, being a Fremantle supporter. Don't worry. So at least you guys have had some success. What motivated you guys to start collecting player issue footy jumpers?
So about October, August last year, I was just scrolling through TikTok and come across one of Andy Munro's videos.
Andy Munro.
And it was just about how there's these football jumper pages on Facebook, and how there's all types of jumpers, player issues, and match worns on there, and eBay as well.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, from there, just went on Mum's Facebook account, requested the groups, and smooth sailing from there.
Nice. So, do you have your own Facebook account, or are you using Mum's?
I use Mum's.
Nice. Well done, Mum.
I still have a bit of control.
That's right. I think I'll be very similar to you when I'm a parent, I reckon.
I enjoy it as much as what he does. Like, we bond together over it, but I find that there's so many people out there that are willing to pass on their knowledge and sort of help you find the items that you want. And now we're lucky that people are reaching out to us.
Yep.
So we've to get some amazing Guernseys, so we're very happy.
Yeah, and you guys have only started collecting in August or October last year. That's amazing. Okay, so that's funny actually because my parents never approved of me collecting at all. It wasn't until I moved out of home that I could really collect the way I wanted to collect. I had maybe, 4 or 5 when I was living with them. I now have closer to 400. So it's actually really nice to see that you yourself are helping your son Anthony out and you enjoy it as much. I can't imagine what it would have been like for myself if my parents had have enjoyed collecting with me. I can't say I could ever imagine that. And it has been through the groups that I've actually got that feeling where I've enjoyed collecting and I enjoy sharing because those people, they know what I like and they are the same as me. And they all feel the same as I do when I put jumpers up. So it's really, really nice to see that actually, that you are supporting of him in his collecting. But I'm assuming you do some collecting yourself as well?
I love it. I love the different coloured training tops.
Right.
Yeah, so we've got a few of those as well, which is really good. My favourite one's the aqua one. Even if we put a shout out on social media that we're looking for them, we found some amazing colours. So I enjoy it as much as what Anthony does.
That's awesome.
Yeah.
I don't know if I can't remember if I was talking to you beforehand, but Anthony's got one hell of a fantastic mullet. So it is tremendous. So if you see him out, do you play footy? Who do you play for, Anthony? I do know you do play.
Yeah, I play for the local team, Greenvale.
Yes. So if you see him out there, check out that mullet. It is an absolute beauty. He's a great collector. So give him a thumbs up and say, I heard you on the Player Issue podcast. So, well done, mate. That's a tremendous mullet. Anyway, back to it. So you started not that long ago. What was the very first jumper you ever got?
The first jumper I got would have been from Ben Simpson, and it was a ACT Rams match worn.
Right. Whose was it, do you know?
It's expected to be Guy Richardson's, but just how many Swans players came through the Rams, it was really a no-brainer.
Right. Is that why you wanted that? Is it because of the Swans players mostly went through the Rams?
Yeah.
Yeah, nice. And are you still collecting ACT Ram stuff, or are you more moving towards the Sydney Swan stuff?
More moving towards the Swan stuff now, but haven't really come across any Rams.
Yeah. Fair enough. They actually seem to be harder to find than the AFL stuff, don't they?
Yeah, especially kneeful jumpers as well.
Yeah, and Ben loves his kneeful jumpers as well.
Got quite a few.
Obviously, Kylie, you got the first female we've had on the show, which is fantastic. I know I've been putting it out there to have a female on the show, and I've actually been told many times that, hey, there's plenty of us out there, and they've told me through the podcast, but they don't want to come on the show. So it is exciting to have you.
Thank you.
Anyway, let's get on with it. So what was, the very first jumper you ever got? So what was the very first AFL jumper you ever scored?
What would it have been?
I have no idea.
So in the background, I can see a bunch of jumpers hanging up behind them. They've laid them out absolutely beautifully. It looks great. I'm definitely going to take a screenshot of this and chuck it on the page as well. It looks awesome.
It's the only way we could think of displaying them for him.
It's really. Is this how it is permanently? They always displayed like this?
Yes.
Yeah, nice. It looks awesome.
So we think we're running out of room already, so...
Yeah, that'll happen very quickly.
Yes.
The background. Would have been that Adam Chera one.
I think it was Adam Chera.
It would have been.
Yeah.
Oh, here we go. So your first one, Anthony, what was it?
My first jumper was an Adam Chera training Guernsey from 2020, I think, from memory.
Yes, I actually think I know the one you're talking about. So, yeah, it was a 2020 Adam Chera training worn jumper. So, as a Fremantle man myself, very excited to hear that. Did you have a soft spot for Adam Chera or just a soft spot for Freo? Or was it just the first thing that came up and you just had to grab it?
It was on eBay for a really good price, and I couldn't go past it. And Adam Chera, I love watching him play, and he's on the rise this year, I reckon.
Absolutely. Funny little tidbit to that, actually. The guy that you actually bought that off, he actually works for the Fremantle Football Club. So,
oh, wow.
There you go. And he has actually been a guest on the show as well, Craig Evans. So, shout out to Craig.
That's good.
Okay, so what about your first Sydney Swans jumper? What was the first one you got? I know I'm throwing the hard questions at you.
My first Swans jumper would have been a Jared McVeigh training jumper.
Nice.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So it's pretty good to get such a good player as my first.
Absolutely. You're talking about a good player there for sure.
Yeah, and for a really good price as well. So
I think you can't put a price on that.
yeah.
There you go. Values are always at the eye of the beholder, I believe, with these things, because you can pick them up super cheap, but it doesn't necessarily mean that's how much they're worth, because they could be worth a lot more to you than they are to somebody else. So
Won't be moving from where it is, so.
that's awesome. So how many jumpers do you have in the collection now?
We've got about roughly 50 and about 25 player issues.
25 PI. So it hasn't been that long, so that's a pretty good start. Definitely.
Yeah, going up.
Are you going to have to slow it down at some point, or you reckon you're just going to keep going and trying to make up some space?
Bank of Mum will just keep on working. It's all good.
Oh, I love it.
We're a bit scared if the Swans have an auction soon, so
Yeah.
hopefully that for a few reasons.
Yeah. Fair enough. Hey, guys, so I know that you guys do actually have social media. If you'd like to share with us where everyone can see your collection, let us know where they can find you.
So our Instagram page is AUD_Guernseys. And yeah, we've just reached 130 followers, so it's going along really well.
Very good, very good. You'll find that, well, I know you already know this, but the collecting world and the networking between everybody is really good, and everyone will share everyone's collections, and everyone likes everyone's collections, and it just builds from there, and everyone just gets along really well, I can see. Actually, the funny thing is, there are a lot of young kids have been doing collecting for a little while now. They don't necessarily do it the right way, because they are, they're pretty young. And it can be very intimidating for younger kids coming up with all these guys who are perhaps in their mid-30s like myself, who doesn't feel that old at all. But it can be very intimidating for a gentleman like yourself, and sometimes it can be, especially in this younger social media generation, it can be really daunting. So the fact that you have Kylie, Mum, to help you through that, I think is really fantastic. So how do you feel, Kylie, with having him on social media, and how do you reckon he goes as himself? I mean, obviously he's on your social media page, but how do you reckon he goes and handles himself?
Well, he has his the AUD_Guernseys on Instagram. I find that he shows a lot of maturity, because he puts up photos of what he's purchased, but he also researches and puts a little description. And I find that people reach out to him. They love his collection. All the feedback is very positive. But in a way, on social media such as Facebook, I still like to not police him as much, but it's more you can get a lot of negative comments. But we found that in the community, like from especially from your auction, from the auction that you had, a lot of people have reached out to us, and all their comments are very positive.
Oh, nice.
So you sort of work out which are the good people out there.
Yep.
But then you have the negative people as well. So I can sort of police that, which I'm still happy to do that.
Yeah, good. It is very, very hard. I manage a retail store myself, and I do have kids who are 15, 16, up to 20 years old, who do deal with the social media and how hard it is and how stressful it can be, and mental health has come in a long way. It's really difficult. So to have yourself actually not policing him, but guiding him through and helping him is really what you're doing, and I think that's really, really good for yourself and for him in the future as well.
Yeah, he's very responsible, but it's not him that I have to worry about. It's other people that are out there.
Yeah, that's right. Yeah, it's never necessarily the poor bloke behind the keyboard who it's usually then getting bashed, so it's really not fair, but trying to stay away from that is quite difficult as well, because there's a lot of keyboard warriors, sadly.
That also keeps me a part of what's happening as well, and I love it as well. So
yeah, awesome.
Yeah.
So you say that you research the stuff that you get in and you put it up. That sort of thing, did that come from Andy Munro, or was it a little bit of here and there from other people, or you just decided to do it yourself?
Yeah, a bit from Andy and other collectors around, but is it Football Jumpers?
Yep.
The website?
Yep.
Yeah, that's helped tons. It's really simple to use and helps a lot trying to write descriptions and things like that. Yeah. Then from there, knowing what year your Guernsey is, going into searching up which player was worn by, stuff like that.
Yeah, footyjumpers.com is an incredible research tool, like finding out what jumper that you've actually got, what year it's from, and things like that. Yeah, I've used it a lot, so it does help massively. How many? So you say you got 25 player issue jumpers right now. There's got to be a limit, right? Or is it just going to be like Kylie, you say, you're just going to keep opening that bank, or is it there's no limit? It's just get what you can. What's great, I'm going to grab it.
Oh, it's probably not as much as get what you can. Like, we know what we're looking for.
Okay.
We haven't come across it yet. We've got a few. If an amazing one comes along, obviously we're going to grab it.
Yeah.
But we're not just getting anything. Yeah.
So what's the goal? What is the ultimate goal that you would like to complete your collection?
I have to have an Isaac Heaney.
Right.
For me, it'd probably have to be a grand final match worn.
Okay, yep.
By Luke, Josh Kennedy, one of them be great, or Dane Rampy.
And that's it. You'd be set for life. You'd be like, yeah, I'm good.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Nick Davis from 2005 grand final. That'd be great.
Yeah.
Leo.
I know it's easy to say that now, but as soon as you get those pieces, it's like, oh, what now can I get? I guarantee you, that's what I did.
Yeah.
All right, so you mentioned that you guys have had some great players come through. You've had some really good players come through. You know, Michael O'Loughlin, Paul Kelly, Tony Lockett. Can't get bigger than that. Paul Roos, et cetera, et cetera. Obviously, they're the older players, but what are some of the great players you've got in your collection now?
Best player in our collection would have to be Josh Kennedy.
Josh Kennedy. Where'd that one come from, I wonder?
Really good auction.
Oh, right. Really good auction. That's a good answer.
That was amazing.
Yeah. Can't remember who it was from, but...
We had a great night that night. It was really good. We're bidding for it, and people are messaging us on social media.
Really?
It's you've got it. Good luck.
Oh, that's awesome.
It was fantastic. We had a great night, actually. We can't wait for the next one.
Yeah, very soon, actually. 17th of April, I believe.
Yeah.
Did I get that right?
So that would probably be Jared McVeigh.
Nice, yeah.
Babe Smith, Dan Hanbury, Lee Montagna as well.
Lee Montagna.
Yeah.
So obviously not being a Swans jumper, so you do dabble a little bit in other the clubs as well?
Yeah, we have. If one comes up, and yeah, have to grab it.
Is it more of the better players that you'll grab, or is it just designs, or?
It's a design that you like.
Designs, players that I like watching and things like that. And if a great player comes up from another club, it's hard to go past.
What's the oldest jumper that you have in the collection at the moment?
We've got a retail from the 90s, a second one, a Swans jumper, which is probably our oldest non-player issue.
And if you had the opportunity to get a Paul Roos or a Plugger Lockett, God forbid, would you jump as high as you can for that, or you're more into the modern stuff?
I think you'd have to just go for it, no matter the price. It's something that just you never see.
Mum, that's down to you, I think.
My family's pretty much into the Swans. My auntie had the opportunity to jump for a Paul Kelly.
Oh, God. What happened?
I believe it's on her wall at the moment.
Oh, she got it?
Yes.
Oh, fantastic.
So it's sort of a family affair, so yeah, it's all good.
That's awesome. So you obviously very much approve of it. What does the rest of the family feel like as far as the collecting goes?
My husband's not sport orientated in any way, shape or form. And I have two daughters, and they're more than happy to support Anthony whilst he's playing for the Greenvale Jets. But, yeah, no real interest. When we go to the footy and things, they don't really like tagging along.
Fair enough. Now, I'm sure you've heard in previous episodes that some of the guys will look out at games or they'll watch even the TV and they'll see player issue jumpers. Are you at that stage yet where you'll look around, you'll scour the crowd and to see a player issue jumper and think, oh, I'd like that one, or hey, Mum, can you go over and have a chat to them, or anything like that yet?
Well, we were at the footy a couple of weeks ago when it was the practice match, the Bulldogs versus the D's, and I was wearing my Liam Jones Western Bulldogs jumper.
Oh, yeah.
And I could hear the guy behind me, and he was saying, "Oh, that jumper's got a GPS pocket." So it's pretty cool to have someone recognise what it was.
Yeah, that's right. I'm far too big to wear any of my jumpers, sadly, but I envy you being able to wear some to the footy.
Yeah, it's been good.
I do really enjoy people watching nowadays. Now that I have stolen the cards idea, the business cards idea off Dave Causey, who hands out cards at footy games whenever he sees a jumper that he likes. So I do tend to people watch quite a lot when I'm at the footy. So you'll grow into that, no doubt. You'll see jumpers out in the field, and I've got to go have a look, go have a chat to them. I'll send mum over and have a chat. Hey, here's a couple $100. Can I get that off your back?
Yeah, might have to start doing something like that.
It'll happen, trust me. Okay, do you prefer to have your jumpers signed or unsigned? Would you prefer to go get the jumper signed yourself?
Depends. Well, we got offered a Will Haywood player issue about last week, and we would have loved to grab it, but it's team signed, so it kind of ruins it in some aspects.
Fair enough. So you prefer it unsigned or just signed by the player?
Just signed by the player, preferably, or if it's signed by another one or two players.
Yep.
Yeah.
Now, I know it's hard because you guys are in Melbourne, but are you able to go out and try and get, even harder now being COVID, but I suppose you weren't collecting before, were you? So it's going to be really difficult. But would you like to be able to go out and take your jumpers with you, your player issue jumpers, and get them signed by players whenever they come into Melbourne?
Yeah, that would be really good to have a few of them signed. It's great when they do come signed, so it's a little bit easier, but yeah, it's great to get them signed yourself.
But have you had any of the player issue jumpers signed yourself yet?
No, I haven't. Hopefully this Saturday night at Marvel, the Saints versus Melbourne, we get Dan Hanbury signed, which would be good.
That'd be very cool. What's really cool about it is, getting the players' hands on the jumpers and seeing that it is their jumper and having a story to tell them or talk to them about. Because often they'll sign a lot of retails and they'll just sign it and move on. But a lot of times players will see it's their jumper and go, this is mine. And it'll start a conversation. Oh, where did you get it? Do you collect? That sort of thing. So that's another thing that you enjoy about collecting as well. So enjoy that.
Yeah.
Hopefully he signs it for you.
Hopefully.
Now, do you have any jumpers framed at all? Or are they all just hanging on the hook up there?
We've got one of Anthony's jumpers from 2019, just a retail that we take to the matches with my mum and Fan Day and get them to sign it. So that's sort of something that we got framed.
Yep.
Because we all did it together. So that's special to us.
And it'd be hard with some of the player issues to get signed, to get framed which side to do it of as well.
Yeah.
So that's a bit hard to frame a few of them.
Yeah, I know that feeling. I know I've got the cave done and it's all complete and looks great. I'm like, okay, now I can chuck some jumpers up on the wall in a frame. Yeah, no, I still can't decide if there's any or what I can do. It's the same issue. Like, do I put them front? Do I put them back? I've got some grand final jumpers, some 2013 grand final jumpers I would love to put on the wall. Then they're never going to know whose it was. So, I mean, I've got a Lockie Neal one, and that would be quite devastating to not know it was a Lockie Neal. So, yeah, I'm always going back and forth whether or not I frame jumpers, but I don't know if it'll ever happen, to be honest with you.
Yeah, and especially if you frame one, you've got to frame all of them. So
yeah, that's not happening. Okay, so you've got quite a few jumpers up there, and they're all different manufacturers. Now, which one would you prefer as a manufacturer? So which one do you like the material better of, or the cut, and that sort of thing?
It's got to be ISC.
ISC. It's just funny because a lot of people hate ISC. I don't know why, because I love it. We had ISC for 10 years. What do you like about ISC jumpers?
Their material is really good, stretchy, and it just looks great. The colours are always amazing on the jumpers that they produce. And, yeah, you can't go wrong. We had them for a very long time, but now we've gone to Nike. So,
what do you feel about Nike?
Not amazing. They're not really a football-orientated company, but it's going a lot better than West Coast's jumpers are. So,
yeah, indeed. And at least they're all sublimated, right, this year? I don't think they're not heat pressed, are they?
Yeah, I'm pretty sure. So it should be okay. Yeah,
it's good because the Blues had an absolute mare with them the last couple of years that they were there. So good signs for Nike and AFL, which is good to see because it is nice. They were around in the early 2000s and they did produce some absolutely beautiful jumpers. So it'd be good to get back to that sort of thing. Thought they were gone, to be honest, at one point.
Yeah, it will be good to see what they produce, especially with the Indigenous Guernseys and things like that.
Do you know if they're going to come up with a new design this year?
I'm not sure, but they've had the current Black Swan design for a couple years, so I think so.
Yeah, it'd be really good. Obviously, a new manufacturer, a new design would be great. I don't know if Freo are doing one or not, but to be honest, I haven't heard of any club's doing a new design yet, but I'm sure we'll hear about that pretty soon. And it's exciting. I love seeing that sort of thing. And I know the footy's on right now. I did have it on, but it was distracting, so I've turned it off the wall. So I'll have to get back to that afterwards. Good old KO does it well. What is the most unique jumper that you have in your collection at the moment?
Tough choices.
Sorry, don't ask me, because I wouldn't be able to tell you what my unique or favourite jumpers in my collection are. It's too hard. Go on, bring it down and show us. All right, so we've got a 2008 Dream Team jersey jumper. I don't know why I said jersey. I didn't say jersey ever. Beautiful. And that's signed on front. Who signed that?
We've tried to narrow down a few of them. We found Richo signed it, which was really cool.
Nice.
Cooney and Brett Kirk signed it as well, which
nice.
is really cool.
Very cool, yeah.
This was from Andy, which is good.
Oh, nice.
Still got the tags as well. And this terribly coloured 2010 Swans trainer.
Would be the unique one. Yeah, I guess I could see that. Yeah. Now, why do you like that one so much?
Before, I saw one this week, but before then, just never saw it around. And I think Adam Jander had it. So
right, yep.
When we saw it, we couldn't go past it, really. Really unique colourway and, yeah. Cool
is it
design.
a player issue one or is it just retail?
It's not just a retail.
Gotcha. Would you like to get a player issue of that design?
Yeah, that would be great.
So you're wearing, right now, it looks like you're wearing a 2010, 2011 Sydney Swans jumper.
Yeah, I am.
Yeah, so no, the fact that you've obviously done a lot of research. Now, the research, does that come from talking to a lot of other collectors, or does it just come from going through web pages and things like that, or what is it? Share us your stories. How do you do all this research?
Yeah, lots have come from other collectors and just asking if they're big Swans collectors like Nathan Geeson.
Yep.
I've asked him a lot, do you know what year this is from? And he's always really helpful identifying Swans jumpers, and other collectors, their knowledge really helps identifying jumpers.
So when you ask people like Nathan Geeson, who is a very good listener of the show, by the way, shout out to Nathan. That's a new one, Nathan. When you're asking him questions, is he then telling you, this is this and this is why? So is he telling you that this is a 2011 and the reason why is because of this? Or is it just saying, it's 2010, 2011?
He always gives a little bit of insight into, why jumpers had that certain flaw or thing about them.
Yep.
So it's always really good to get an insight from collectors like him. Yeah,
absolutely. I mean, there's plenty of people out there you can ask questions, but there are a lot of people out there who will answer questions but will tell you a really good reason. It'll give you a lot of really good answers, and to give you homework as well, I find is really, really good. So I'll tell people, this is it, and this is why it is this. But if you want to know why they did it, go and find out, because I like to challenge people as well. Like, I don't want to give everyone the answers because they're just going to keep coming back and just going to use the answer for whatever reason. But if someone like yourself, I'll be like, mate, this is a 2011 jumper. They wore it for these rounds or whatever. But the reason why they changed it, I want you to go find out and come back to me, because it then gives you something that you learn, and you're going to find out a lot more when you're trying to do that as well, because you're not just finding out that answer, you're going to find out a lot more stuff that you didn't know as well. And chances are you'll come back to me with, by the way, I found out this. And that's what I love about the network and the collecting. So you're doing it really well. Shout out to you, and shout out to Mum as well, the way that you two are doing the way that you collect. So it's really good to see and quite heartening.
Well, if Anthony's interested in purchasing something, he has to explain to me why he needs that in his collection.
Oh, nice. I like that. Okay. Why? Why does he need to explain to you? I like this.
Well, you see something that you like, but you need to find a bit of history about it. Mm-hmm. Like, tell me if it's player issue, who wore it. We're finding out all this new information about the GPS pockets, about certain tags and logos, and then I learn from that as well. So he's not only finding out for himself, he's teaching me things as well. So
awesome.
On that, bought a heritage jumper from Sports Gear Australia.
Yep.
I've been chasing one of these even just to retail for a while, so it's great to get a player issue.
Yeah, that's a gorgeous heritage jumper. What year is that one from?
It's the 2018 commemorating the 1918 premiership.
Awesome. Looks beautiful. Is that one of the blank ones on the back?
Yeah, it is.
Gorgeous design though, isn't it? Did they actually do an auction for those jumpers? Do you remember?
I think they did, but no blanks. But on inspection, I was looking through the Guernsey and on the jock tag, and inside the ISC material tag, there's a very small inner tag saying 26. So
interesting.
Hopefully that could be a loop marker, but
we always find things that we can try and attach to something.
yeah.
Sadly, it doesn't always work out like that, but yeah.
Yeah.
So when you're talking about you need to know about why you need certain things or why a jumper is nice or that you want it and the reasons why, if you come to mum, to Kylie, and say, hey, I want this jumper because of this, Kylie, do you then say that you've already got that particular design, or is it, okay, then tell me why would you need this over that one?
Yeah, I need to know the reasoning because I find that Anthony's become quite knowledgeable. So he's not just going to say he wants something just for the sole reason of having it. There's always a reason behind it. Yeah,
good. Because that wasn't me when I was collecting at all. It was, okay, I've seen one, bang, I've bought it. And that's where it gets out of hand.
At the start, when he first started, it was initially, let's see what we can get.
Yeah.
But when he's got all of this knowledge, everyone's more than happy to help him out. His collections, like the value of his collection has increased, like not monetary, but more the players, the names that he's getting. So it's good. We even had someone reach out to Anthony and ask him, it was a Swans Guernsey, ask him, did he know anything about this Guernsey? Where was it from? And you replied straight away that it was from a Swans intra-club match.
Yep.
And he'd already downloaded photo, sent off the information. So it was pretty cool.
That is awesome. So you've already had people reaching out to you for help?
Yeah, it's been really cool within a couple months to go from the asking to the asker. The asker to the
Asking. Yeah, there you go. I'm not the only one who can't speak English today. No, that's really, really good to hear, mate. And you really are doing things the right way. And so well done. I'm really enjoying watching things because I do watch your pages, your Instagram page. I'm always seeing it and seeing the great stuff that come up. And I read all your research and it's spot on. You're fantastic with all the stuff that you do. And that's just a credit to you and credit to mum as well. You're doing a great job. Got a great son. So, yeah, obviously you're a great mum.
Oh, thank you.
So it's just you two in the household. That's it. It's just you two collecting. Is it weird when you're sitting at the dinner table and you two are talking jumpers and they're talking about Barbie dolls and whatever else they're talking about?
No, we love it. Yeah, it keeps us close too. Yeah.
So you guys watch the footy together on TV as well?
Yes, we do. We go to the matches and, yeah.
Does anyone else come with you or is it just you two?
If it's a Swans match, my mum tags along as well. Yeah.
Do you know anyone else in your family that collects as well? Other than, I think, did you say it was your auntie?
My auntie's probably the only one that's the big collector as well.
What would you say you value your collection at right now?
Monetary-wise?
Do I really need to know that?
Well, you might surprise yourself. You might be, it might be a good thing or really bad.
Can you really put a value on a Swans top? Seriously?
Yes. I think I overvalue my Freo jumpers, but it is what it is. I don't. If you don't want to pay it, I'm not going to sell it. So it's simple.
That's it.
Taking the sentimental out, I'd say around 4, around that.
Nice. That is a really good start for only a few months collecting. So, credit to you. So I can see, obviously, you've got your Josh Kennedy there. Now, Kylie, you were going really super hard at the Bailey Smith jumper.
And did you see that we got one?
I was just about to ask you that because you mentioned at the very start that there was a Bailey Smith in there somewhere. Now, I don't know if I did see that. Can you show me, Anthony?
Okay.
You get.
It's also
right here.
It's also good as well because when you search Bailey Smith, it's one of the first jumpers he's wearing that come up.
Oh wow! So for those of you playing at home, Anthony, what are you showing me right now?
I'm showing you a Bailey Smith 2020 training worn jumper.
Very nice, and it's a really nice light blue. Quite like that.
It's cool as well. It's got the EJ Witten design on the front.
Oh yes, I did notice that. That's really cool. Yeah.
Yeah.
Very nice. Now, Kylie, you were going super hard at that auction, and just for us, we couldn't do anything but sit there and watch and just marvel at it. I think you got in with a second to spare, even with the lag at one point, so you did really well.
See, our game plan was obviously the Kennedy was number 1.
Yep.
Bailey was number 2.
Right.
And we were getting messages after we got the Kennedy. People were saying, what are you going for next?
Right, okay.
And we're like, oh, we want the Bailey. And they were saying what they were going for.
Mm-hmm.
So we did our best. We tried.
You sure did.
Yeah, it was actually really good. And we got a lot of messages afterward, people saying, you know, it was great bidding against you. And, yeah, it was good, actually. We had a good night, didn't we?
Yeah, it was
fun.
I'm sorry it went for so long, but...
Oh, no, we actually enjoyed it, though.
Oh, good.
It was really, really well done. But, yeah, we got one in the end.
That's awesome. So as soon as you didn't get it, were you just out hunting for one, or did people come to you and let you know they had one, or how'd you end up with it?
I think it was about the next week I put a thing on AFL Player Issue, the group, saying, does anyone have a Bailey Smith?
Yep.
And we got a lot of comments saying, you know, about how he missed out, which was really good to see.
I think you commented too, didn't you?
Perhaps.
Yeah.
I may have said something along the lines of, well, why didn't you bid on the one at the auction? But, you know.
We gave it a good go.
No, you gave it a fantastic go. I really enjoyed watching that, and it went for an astronomical amount, really, but it was all for a great cause. That was really great, and the winning bidder ended up paying immediately, so that was great. Actually, everyone was really good, and it's really good to hear about what happened in the background, because obviously myself and I think I've said that in my last 3 podcasts now, but myself and Josh and Emma, we're obviously just staring at our screens and just seeing all the comments come through, but we didn't really know what was going on in the background with people getting messages and talking to each other. Some people who have never talked to each other before, obviously, they're messaging each other and just having a chat about it. So that's really good to hear. That's
Yeah, we even had people that were taking a break from watching, and they said, just send us a message when this particular top comes up.
Yep.
So, yeah, there was a lot going on in the background. It was a lot of fun.
It was also really good to see like what other collectors are after and what things they're going for as well.
Andy Munro had an after party on TikTok. Were you a part of that?
No, I went to sleep straight after.
It was pretty late, but I didn't even know about it. I think I was just winding down from it all, and I was pretty knackered, to be honest. I did a lot of talking. Josh didn't do a lot of talking, sadly. But, Clint Johnson sent me a message and said, hey, Andy Munro's having an after party on TikTok. I said, what does that even mean? So I had to go and have a look. And yeah, he was just talking back to everybody who was making comments, and it was fun. I enjoyed and getting in on that as well. But yeah, I did. It blew up into something that I didn't expect. So yeah, that's why we had to do another one, and it will be quite soon. So a lot more production value is going into that one for sure. As you can see, there's a lot more lighting and stuff, so that's going to incorporate it into it as well. I'm excited, and there's a lot of jumpers being thrown at me to sell at that auction as well, which are high quality stuff. So yeah, I'm excited.
Ones there?
Not yet. I'm waiting. I'm definitely waiting to get some in, but yeah. So if anyone's got any Swans jumpers you want to sell at the next live auction, let us know, because Kylie will be all over them. Okay, so do you guys collect anything other than footy jumpers?
You got your cards?
Every now, yeah, we collect cards as well, and a few cricket items. They're always good to have.
What sort of cricket items do you have?
A couple of months ago, I got a New South Wales player-issued long sleeve, which was really cool to have.
Yep. Is that a one-day one or a Sheffield Shield one?
It's a one-day one from memory, and worn it a couple times as well, so it's pretty cool.
Very cool. What else? Do you collect anything else, or is that about it? You just really focus on footy?
Yeah, mainly football is the main go.
Yep.
And a little bit of cricket.
Yep, fair enough. Do you play cricket as well?
No, just in the backyard, not for a club.
Yeah, fair enough. That's where I'm at now as well. Destroyed my shoulder, among many other things, so that's all I'll ever do now. All right, so this is a really tough question, and most people don't like it, but here we go. What is the number one jumper in your collection?
Oh, it's got to be the Josh Kennedy.
Wow, really?
Yeah.
So the Josh Kennedy 2017 Intra-Club jumper, is that the one you mean?
Yeah, with the COA.
That's fantastic. Is there any footage of that game, or is it only pictures? I don't think I ever saw any footage of it.
I haven't found any footage of it, just photos from it.
He's got a really nice signature as well.
Yeah, he does. And it's really big on the back too, so that's really good.
Yeah. Now, Kylie, I've got to ask a question, because you guys are red and white. Obviously, you're wearing red and white, nothing but. So, being that you were going so hard after a Bailey Smith, why? Why was it Bailey Smith so important to you? Now, I'm looking at the lovely mullet again. Is it because of that?
Yeah, it's got to be. He's just a gun to watch, and his hair. It inspired me to get mine, so.
I have been told that Anthony does look a little bit like Bailey Smith.
He certainly does, yeah.
Yeah.
Is that who you're inspired to be when you grow up?
Yeah, a few more things to go. I think he's got a couple of ears pierced, and
No.
Kylie says no.
No.
How good was the little interaction with Bailey Smith and the umpire from the other night or from last week?
It was really good seeing footage of that. Just been great getting an insight into some of the players and how they react to the umpires. So, yeah, it was really funny.
Yeah, he seems like a really good bloke, actually. So, I mean, he'd go out and he'd give him a bit of a chirp, but then he's respectful as well. So, good person to look up to, I think, for sure.
Yeah, it's good to see that.
Now, what jumper don't you have yet that you'd like to get your hands on? I know you've mentioned that you'd want to get a grand final jumper from a few different players, but there's got to be one that you've narrowed down, that if it's the only one jumper in your lifetime from now on that you could ever get, what would it be, Anthony?
That's a tough one.
It sure is.
A Leo Barry 2005 grand final match one.
Wow.
What he did in that game, just to have that would be insane.
Yeah, it would. That's a great one to narrow down, actually. And if anyone has that or know where it is, let us know, because we'd love to see it for sure.
Yeah.
Kylie, yourself, do you have one that you would love to get a hold of?
As I said earlier, an Isaac Heaney.
Isaac Heaney. He's a lovely young boy, isn't he?
He's actually very respectful.
He is.
Yeah, he's a lovely gentleman.
He's a good kid. I don't have one of his, sadly. I have had one in my collection at one point. I've got a Callum Mills now, but no, Isaac would be a tremendous one to get. So, yeah, I think we're going to wind it down now because we've got 47 minutes in. Not too bad at all.
We could chat all night.
We could, and I'm starting to sweat up a little bit in here. I think I turned the aircon a bit too hot, actually. Anyway, thank you guys for joining me. I've had a great time. Hopefully you guys have enjoyed it as well.
Yeah, thank you for having us.
Keep doing what you guys are doing. I love watching everything you do on Instagram. I love all the interactions you guys have on Facebook and things like that. You're great to watch, and the way you do things is fantastic. And I know everyone else... everyone knows you're a Swans supporter and Swans collector, so they're all going to start come running to you. So be prepared for that. Now that you're famous on the Player Issue podcast as well. So one more time, let everyone know where they can find you on social media.
You'll find us on Instagram at AUD_Guernseys.
Awesome. Well, thank you very much, Kylie. Thank you, Anthony. Been lovely to chat to, and go the Bloods.
Thank you.
Up the Swans.
There you go. That is our interview with Kylie and Anthony Audino. What a mum. I mean, God, I wish I had a mum like that when I was trying to start my collection, because it probably would have got a lot worse than it actually is right now. So probably not a good thing to have a mum like that when I was out of control as I was. So, no, you're doing a really great job with Anthony. Obviously, he's collecting the right way. 14 years old. What a champion. And what a bloke. What a mullet. If you jump on the Player Issue Podcast Facebook page, I'm going to chuck up a screenshot that I took during the interview of Anthony and Kylie with the jumpers in the background, really, so you could see that fantastic mullet. So he really does look like Bailey Smith as well. You're not wrong there at all. And I'm stoked that you guys did manage to pick up a Bailey Smith jumper as well, because you were going really hard after that jumper in the auction, and it was really kind of sad to see you miss out on that. So, stoked you've got one now as well. So thank you guys again for coming on, and I am really looking forward to seeing your collection in the future. Righto, let's talk really quickly about the ins and outs. So my ins and outs for the last 3 weeks, rather smallish. First in for me in the last 3 weeks was a 2021 Indigenous AFLW Fremantle Dockers Roxy Rue match-worn jumper. Roxy Rue, what a name. She's an absolute superstar. She's a gun. She's only 19 years old, and she's got a hell of a boot on her. She can kick 50, no problems whatsoever, and what a mark she is as well. Keep an eye out for her. She's going to be an absolute superstar of the competition, and she's got a fantastic signature. If you jump over to my AFL Guernsey collection page, you can have a look at the jumper and check out her autograph. It is absolutely amazing. I think when I picked it up, I talked to Tony Godden, who handed it over to me and said, wow, this girl's only 19? Crikey, this is a beautiful signature. Even he was surprised by it. So, Yeah, check it out. And the jumper is absolutely gorgeous. The AFLW, I really like the cotton on jumpers. Their material and the cut are really quite nice. So, I'm actually stoked to finally pick up an AFLW Fremantle Dockers jumper. I did have one from 2017. Well, I've still got it from 2017. But there haven't been too many. Well, there haven't been any, actually. Fremantle Dockers player issue or match worn AFLW jumpers come out since then. So, yeah, good to finally see them. And as a result, they did go quite high in the auction as well. I think I paid $2.95 for the Roxy Roo, which is not too bad. For AFLW standards, it might be on the higher side. But again, being the first time they've ever auctioned them off, not a surprise at all to see that. So, originally I was going after a Gemma Houghton. I don't know if she is still leading the current goal scorer. Perhaps not, but yesterday she was equal leading goal scorer of 14 for the season. So I was going after Gems. But unfortunately she went a bit too high for me at the time. I'm not sure why, but I didn't have enough money to continue going after her. And I think she went about $465 or so. Angelique Stannett actually went the highest, $470, something around there. So, yeah, good to see that the AFLW jumpers went a really good value. Also dropped off a PS5 to Mitch Crowden, who gave me a pair of his game-worn boots, and I believe they were from the 2018 season. He's actually wearing them in a photo with Nat Fyfe, Adam Chera, Andy Brayshaw, and Bailey Banfield in the 2018 first game at Optus Stadium jumper. So, yeah, really cool to see that one. And he gave me his backpack as well from last season. So that was really cool of him. Thank you to Mitch. Shout out. Bit of follow-up on the WA State jumper that I mentioned in the previous episode. I did a little bit of research, watched a couple of games. So from 2015 and 2016, I watched the state games from both of those. And the number one player, which was Aaron Black in 2015 and Ryan Neitz in 2016, they seemingly wore the exact same jumper across both years. I would say that because this jumper is so small that it's very easy to notice that, if a bigger player is wearing it. So watching that game, both games, you could see that Aaron Black was wearing a child-sized jumper, and in the very next year, Ryan Neitz was also wearing a child-sized jumper. So I don't know, I guess I'm thinking that the sizes that they gave the players, or the numbers they gave the players, were in size order. So number one being the smallest number, I would think, is also the smallest size as well. So potentially, I think potentially was worn over both seasons, both games, so 2015 and 2016, Aaron Black and Ryan Neitz. So really, really cool to see that. They're a beautiful looking state jumper. So I was really happy to add that into my collection as well. Also, a great jumper come to me from another previous guest, actually gave me the heads up with this one. Brett Asherall, thank you very much, mate. Trent Crode's manager has been selling some of Trent Crode's jumpers for him recently. Won't give you the name of the bloke, but I was put on to him and he told me that had a Fremantle match worn jumper from Trent Crode. Just happened to be Trent's 100th game jumper. And it was actually framed, so the fact that he did offer it to me for sale and asked me what I thought it was worth, and by the time I figured out what it was worth, he actually came back to me and said this is what he's after for it, and that actually lined up exactly what I was thinking. So perfect. I was very happy with that, happy with the value. He also sent me a COA with the jumper, so he did make up a COA himself. Take that as it will. However, there is a photo with Trent Crode holding the jumper with the signature and everything. So I know it's real, and it's come from Trent, so really, really cool. COA doesn't really mean much. However, the COA does have the photo on it with Trent holding the jumper, so that's enough for me. But yeah, the fact that it came from Trent Crode is really, really cool, and it's actually the first Trent Crode Fremantle Dockers jumper that I've actually ever seen. So yeah, really cool to finally own one. And the only other jumper that I have actually got in the last few weeks is a 2010 Chris Johnson, not of the Brisbane kind, but of the Carlton kind. So he actually played for the Melbourne Demons as well. Played around 40-odd games. And yeah, I'm stoked to pick it up. It may be moving on very shortly because one of the good blokes, another collector, who I've been dealing with a little bit, and is just a good bloke in general, it told me that he is actually needing that design for his collection. So I'm going to have to pass that one on to him very shortly as we work out a fair trade. So, yeah, unfortunately, it won't be staying in the collection too long because it's a really nice looking jumper. So thank you to Alan Peterson for that one. I finally managed to get one off him. That is it. That's all I've managed to get over the last 3 weeks, and I don't think I have any more coming at the moment. So a little bit dry for me, but definitely not dry for others. Let's move on to what I've seen on eBay the last few weeks. It's been absolutely crazy, so I'm going to go through these really quite fast because there is just so many of them. I didn't want to leave too many of them out because there were some absolute beauties in there. So $19.99 Ashley McIntosh long sleeve West Coast Eagles jumper went for $962. I was trying very hard to get this one, but went way too much for me in the end. A 2008 or 9-ish, I think it's 2009, West Coast Eagles number 15, I think it's Swift. His jumper went for $360. A 2006 Fraser Gehrig player issue, the G-Train, St Kilda Saints jumper, fully signed on front. That's probably the reason why I went a little bit lower, because if Fraser Gehrig I would have thought would have gone quite high. Especially if a West Coast jumper came up, they would definitely go for a decent amount of money. Went for $222.50. A Port Adelaide Hoops, Tobin Cox, went for $222.50. A 2012 Hawthorn Hawks Grand Final jumper, which was actually match worn, we found out while it was already up. Isaac Smith, I'm not sure if I just mentioned that, but it went for $697. Number 44, Brisbane Lions Hall of Fame jumper, player issue, went for $347. The next one I was trying to bid on was a Brisbane Lions long sleeve 1999 Jason Ackermanis match worn. And it's beautiful. Signed on the back by Jason as well. I tried very hard to get it and I got outbid in the last couple of seconds. Unfortunately, it didn't go hard enough, but it is what it is. Went for $485. A Gold Coast Suns inaugural first match jumper, number 15, went for $450, so good value there. They're going to be very sought after in future. I've actually got myself a Tom Lynch one, so I'm real happy to keep that one in the collection for quite some time. A St Kilda MRV 2020, they obviously didn't get worn, but they were issued eventually. They were a bit late, unfortunately, but they were issued eventually. Dan Hanbury went for $210, and if we just listen to that interview, you'll know exactly where that went to. So congratulations, guys, on getting that one. A 1997 St Kilda Saints number 43 hot cross bun player issue, fully signed in front as well, went for $355. Brad Hill's yellow hot cross bun training jumper from 2020 went for $415. Wow, $415. Luke Hodge, 2011 Hawthorn Hawks player issue, signed with a COA, went for $660. Geez, I wish I still had all my Luke Hodge jumpers that I had previously. I had quite a few of them. A 2006 Fremantle Dockers player-worn training jumper, which was Luke Webster's, went for $105. Speaking of Trent Crode, his 2005 Hawthorn Hawks match-worn signed player issue went for $305. Bit cheaper than the Freo one that I picked up, but yeah, still a great pickup. This one surprised me a little bit. A Geelong Cats Daniel Menzel player issue from 2015-2016-ish went for $71. Very surprised. Menzel was a hot commodity at one point, so yeah, a little bit surprising that his jumper went a little bit low. A long sleeve Fremantle Dockers 2020 Taylor Deman went for $80. Clash jumper. Now, these three popped up, and again, I was thinking I'm in for a bit of a shot here. West Coast Eagles 2017 Clash jumpers, so the yellow ones. Still Puma, so they're great jumpers. The number 21, which is Drew Petrie, the ex-Kangaroo. His jumper went for $450. Then there was number 22, which was Giles, I believe. His one went for $375, and the Jared Redden went for $560. So big money there. West Coast Eagles fans, again, clamouring for some jumpers because there's no West Coast jumpers coming out all that often. And it sounds like the West Coast Eagles have actually cut down on the amount that are going to get out as well. So players were selling their jumpers, and I know that for the last 3 years they've been selling their jumpers a little bit more than the West Coast club would actually like them to. So they've cut back on the amount of jumpers that they're giving out to the players, I believe, as well. So, yeah, so you might not be in for a good run either as a West Coast collector. I don't know why. I think it's something to do with sponsors, but, Yeah, it's not looking too good to be a West Coast Eagles collector in future if you're trying to get some cheap jumpers. There was a 2012-ish St Kilda Saints long sleeve Lee Montagna went for $152. Quite surprising, they went for quite cheap. Also a Luke Ball long sleeve as well. The Clash went for $183. Number 32, which I believe may have been Andrew McQualter, went for $152.50. A Bernie Vince Crows warm-up top went for $80. A 1997 pre-season player-issued Hawks jumper from Craig Trelevin went for $335. Awesome design, that one. 97 Jade Rawlings Hawks jumper, a home and away jumper, went for $325 as well. Then there was a 2015 Hawthorn Hawks Grand Final jumper. Liam Shields player issue went for $717. Crikey. Then there was a really, really cool jumper. A 1990 Brisbane Lions, I think it's a Clash jumper. I believe it was either worn in training or match worn. I'm not too sure. I think it was match worn potentially in the reserves. And it was number 53. So a high number, which usually was reserved for the reserves. And went for $1,825. And just today, a Anthony Koutafidis 2003 4-ish went for $630. Big money there. And Collingwood rounded out today. 2020 Isaac Quainer player issue Guernsey went for $510. Big money. That is all I've seen that has ended. There's a few jumpers still up. There's still the Nigel Smart, which I'm quite surprised that it's still there. There's a Dan Butler MRV player issue for $300. There's a Sean Atley for $180. There's a Jaden Hunt for $180. A Nick Del Santo 2013 as well for $200. Crazy that Nigel Smart's still up. Also, the Matthew Lloyd 98 is still up as well for $800. There's a Melbourne Demons 2010 Shanghai Showdown jumper, which is super rare. I don't see them all that often. Number 50, obviously not match worn, but that's still there. It's $99 starting bid. A 2009 Lonigan match worn jumper as well for $99 starting bid. There's 2011 Josh Gibson with 3 days left on it. He's got $167.50 on it. 2003 Sam Mitchell, so number 28, signed by Sam as well. A Heritage Round jumper. It's currently at $405 and 3 days left, so that's going to go quite large as well. There's a 2002 Martin Pike Brisbane Lions long sleeve. It's signed on front. Huge signature. Looks really, really nice. Has no bids on it, and it's got a day left. So if you're listening to this now, it won't be too long left on it. $375 on it currently. That is it. So that is all I've seen in the way of, well, when I say all I've seen, there's a lot of jumpers. So the AFL season's just started up, so everyone's interest has peaked as well. So jumpers are going to start flying as well. Obviously, you've seen that the AFLauctions.com page is no longer, so you can't go in there to see whose auctions are currently up. So it's going to be a lot harder. You're going to have to start doing some digging into your club's AFL auction sites if you haven't already. So get out there and do that before they happen, because you never know, you might miss an auction and not know anything about it. So it will be interesting to see who the first auction is. Round 2 of the footy. I finally got to the stadium to check out some footy today. I loved it, and hopefully you're doing the same as me if you're out there at the games. I saw quite a few player issue jumpers out there today. I had my card ready to go at one point. I pulled it out of my pocket and was ready to hand it over to a gentleman when I saw a Centenary Fremantle Dockers jumper. So I was already excited to see that it was a woolen jumper, so I thought it was a 95 when I was behind it. Number 27. And then he turned around and saw the Centenary badge and thought, oh, you beauty. Definitely going to give this guy a card. So I had it ready to go. And I was like, I looked at the line, and he was at one end of one line and I was at the other end of the other line. So I thought, oh, we're going to actually meet up in the middle here. Just as we did that in the middle of the food line, he turned around and walked out really quickly. So I think he saw me coming. Hopefully not. I was really hoping to give him a card so I can hopefully get the jumper of him at some point. But, well, is what it is. I'll probably see him again at the footy. So keep your eyes out. There are definitely some great jumpers out there. I saw a number 42, I believe. Number 42, around about 2006 jumper as well. Luckily, I've already got a couple of those, so I didn't give him a card, but plenty out there. I saw a long sleeve Matt Taberner player issue as well. So, yeah, keep your eyes peeled. If you're anything like me, when the missus is talking to you when you're walking to the footy, you're not really listening because you're looking around and checking out everybody. People watching, as she would say, but I'm jumper watching. That is going to do it for today's episode. Remember to tune in on the 17th of April for the live Facebook auction. round 2, as we are calling it. The Player Issue Podcast Facebook page is where you can find that one. Make sure you're out there getting a big one this week. Share all your gets with us on the Player Issue Podcast Facebook page. Have a good one. Goodbye, good night, and see you later.